We've all heard the word faith, but what does it actually mean to believe in something you can't see? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful sermon by Prophet Arrington that tackles that very question. We'll explore the challenges, and you might be surprised to see its role in our everyday lives. So let's just start with the big puzzle, right? This phrase is super famous, the substance of things hoped for. But what does that even feel like? How can hope actually have substance? This is the core idea that Prophet Arrington really tries to unpack for us.
And here it is. This is the foundation for the whole sermon, coming straight from the book of Hebrews. And that key word here is substance. The whole message is that faith isn't just, some fuzzy feeling. It's supposed to be the actual, tangible material of your hopes, the hard evidence for things you can't see yet.
And this is why that definition is so critical. The sermon argues that faith isn't just a nice to have, it's like the fundamental requirement for having any kind of connection with God. So basically, getting this one concept is the key that unlocks everything else. Okay, so if faith is the goal, what's the biggest thing that gets in the way? Well, the sermon frames it as this internal battle that, let's be honest, we can all relate to. That constant tug of war inside our own heads between faith and doubt. And to make this conflict feel real, the sermon uses the perfect story. Peter walking on water. Just look at the two sides here. On the left, you've got pure faith. He hears the call and just steps out of the boat. But then, on the right, the second he looks at the storm, at his circumstances, doubt rushes in and he starts to sink. It's such a powerful picture of that internal struggle. And this right here is a really important distinction the sermon makes. Having little faith doesn't mean you have no faith at all. Nope. It means you have a wavering faith. It's this mix of belief and doubt fighting for control. It's not like an on-off switch, right? It's more like a constant choice about which voice you're going to listen to. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds very spiritual, very abstract. But the sermon's next move is brilliant. It brings this idea right down to earth. The argument is that we are all actually experts in faith. We use it every single day without even realizing it. Think about your job, for example. You work all week long without that money actually in your hand, but you operate on the complete expectation, the faith, that you are going to get paid on Friday. That trust in an outcome you can't see yet, that's exactly what he's talking about. Or how about this one? You get in your car, you turn the key, and you're just sure it's going to start. You don't get out and analyze the engine first. You just simply trust that it's going to work. That's another act of everyday faith right there. And one more super simple one, you walk into a church or a movie theater or anywhere really, and you just sit down without a second thought. You have faith that the chair or the pew is going to hold you up. See, the point is, this muscle of trust is something we use all the time. So the sermon builds this really powerful case, right? We have absolutely no problem trusting chairs and cars and our employers. The real question then becomes, why is it so incredibly hard to apply that same simple faith when we're asking for something truly extraordinary? And to illustrate the power of this kind of asking, the sermon turns to this perfect analogy, the mustard seed. Think about it. This tiny, almost invisible little seed holds the entire blueprint for one of the largest and strongest trees out there. And here it is, the big payoff. The message is that the amount of faith you have isn't even the point. Even a tiny seed-sized speck of pure, undiluted faith is said to have the power to move mountains. So it's not about the quantity of your faith, it's about the quality. And then the sermon takes this idea even further with a pretty provocative challenge. It claims that when we ask for these small, realistic things, we're not being humble. We're actually belittling God. The call to action is to totally expand our requests, to go from asking for just a house to the whole subdivision. And to show this isn't just some theory, Prophet Arrington shares a personal story. Just imagine this. You show up in a brand new city with absolutely nothing. No job, no place to stay. But then, through a totally chance meeting in a store, you're offered a fully furnished apartment for just $50 a month. He presents this not as some random luck, but as a direct result of operating on these principles of faith. So all of this builds to the sermon's big conclusion, its ultimate challenge to everybody listening. It's not enough to just understand these ideas or even to believe in them. The final, crucial step is to act. So it really all comes down to this repeated call to action, step out. It brings us right back to that image of Peter stepping out of the boat, doesn't it? The final challenge is to leave your comfort zone behind and actually put your belief into practice, whatever that might look like for you.
And that really just leaves us with a final question to think about. Whether you interpret the word spiritually or maybe as a deep personal conviction, the core challenge of the sermon is still the same. What does it mean in your own life to truly step out and act on what you believe, especially when you have no idea what the outcome will be?